Hello, everybody. This is another installment of the Superman and Lois Retrospective Season 2. That's three. That's three. Let's do a two, Episode 4, the inverse method. We're having a little bit of inverseness ourselves, I guess, because we are one member short, as you guys can see.
Yep.
We are missing Darren today, but he very strongly told us, go ahead, keep going, show must go on, as they say. So we will steer it for this week, just me and Lance. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed this episode more, I think, on this rewatch than I had on previous ones, just because like in previous rewatches of this, the show wasn't done yet, so you didn't get to look at the whole big picture. But I think now that you can, I can look at certain episodes in different lights. Not to say this episode was flawless. You can definitely see some of the cracks starting to form with the show a little bit, but we'll get into that. What are your just kind of overall thoughts to get us going?
Um, my overall thoughts are, if you're wondering where Darren is, he told us to keep going because he has decided to quit YouTube altogether. It's a strain on his voice, it's a strain on his body, and he has decided to pursue a life of of um of amateur stripping. Yeah, yeah, amateur stripping, but it won't be for money. He's stripping for barbecue ribs. Yeah, yeah,
Is it Kyle
stripping.
Cushing's barbecue
Uh, uh,
ribs?
possibly. He didn't give me all the information. He just said, yeah, I can't do this YouTube thing anymore. He's given me control of his channel and both live streams. So,
Well, see,
in
here's
this,
the thing. We don't have a whole lot to go off of because Darren, I mean, it's not like he made a giant Facebook post giving us a bunch of information. So we don't exactly have a lot to go off
yeah,
of, do we?
yeah, yeah. All I know is he's given me full control of his YouTube channel, and this it's a mass takeover. So I will be absorbing a lot of his content into mine, and yeah. We wish you well, Darren, in your stripping career, and I might show up to one of your shows. You know, nothing weird, nothing weird. I'll bring the ribs, and they will be based in hickory barbecue sauce, just like you like it, just like you like it. Yeah, but this episode, I ain't even gonna lie to you. I watched this episode like 3 weeks ago now. You're gonna have to jog my memory.
So, I mean, yeah, this pretty much goes right off of where the first three episodes were full of a bunch of teases for what was going on in those mines. They finally tell you that it is Bizarro, and it starts out with him out there in the snow. You think it's Clark at first, but I'm sitting here thinking, what is he doing? And like, why is
Yeah.
he smashing that thing? Of course, that's the start of Bizarro's whole, quest to destroy that pendant. Um, and you get, introduced to that, or not really introduced. You get further expansions of Allie because of the whole ambush that happened in episode 3, where she's like, Lucy's not here, and then you get that talk between her and Lois. Do
Oh
love
yeah,
that
they
moment
met
too.
at the diner,
Yeah, I
and
love
she
that
thought she
moment
was gonna meet
too.
with Lucy. Yeah,
Yeah, where Allie is like, I don't respond well to threats, and then Lois is like, I don't either. Like that moment a lot. Um,
Lois is
and
a badass. Lois is always a badass.
I mean, she's also got Superman on her side, so there's
True,
that too.
true.
Um, but no, I like that part a lot. And then you get to see more of what we thought at the time was the same Lucy from Supergirl. Now, obviously not, but
Yeah.
I gotta say that is, along with Ellie, Lucy was honestly one of my least favorite characters in this show because of just how much they wrote her as someone constantly blind to what
Yeah,
Allie is doing until like the second to last episode. And
but
that went
it's
on
so,
too long.
at the same time, I have to say that's real. That is
Yeah.
so real. How somebody could just be, as you put it, so blind and believing in something so deeply. That's how cults work. Even
Yep.
even going into like the you could believe in like some of these people, they believe in their pastors and stuff so deeply. You can be so blinded by something that you think is helping you and is actively harming you.
Yeah.
Allie had her claws so deep in these people, and that just played into the whole. Oh, she's a play on parasite. She's parasite. Like
Yeah.
the way Todd Helbing formulated this was genius. You needed to do something different with Parasite than what Supergirl did. So instead of doing
Oof.
traditionally, you went with it as in, okay, we're going to link it to the inverse world. But not only is she draining the life out of them to merge with their other self, she's draining the life out of them by making them believe that they need this. She's draining the life out of them by, I'm sure they were paying money for all this stuff too, like to just be a part of this cult. It's a cult. Cults, everybody knows you can be so loyal that it literally sucks the life out of you. It'll make you do dumb things.
And they don't know how serious she was when she kept talking about crossing over. They don't know
Yeah.
what she meant by that. Like they thought it was, metaphorical. No, she was 100% being
Yep.
serious.
Because honestly, in merging, the stronger personality was going to dominate. Let's just be
Yeah.
completely honest.
But
And
for
the
a
people
lot of
that were
them,
in,
the
yeah,
Bizarro side was the
it was
stronger
gonna
one.
be it was gonna be their bizarro sides. So yeah, like she knew what she was doing, and it's just like it's crazy that we didn't realize back then like how deep this messaging was, because you can take something like this and compare Allie Austin to a certain person that's in the White House at the moment, and his followers. That's all I'm gonna say. This was deep. This was deep. And I know
Yeah.
people watching this may say, oh, it's just a show. No, this was deep. A lot of the stuff that Superman and Lois did
Hit,
was
hit a
had
little
a
close to
deeper
home
meaning.
on this recent
Yeah,
rewatch. Hit a little too
yeah,
close to home.
yeah.
Uh, um, yeah, we got some more stuff with the kids this episode too. I like that moment near the beginning where Jordan's listening to Lois with the podcast, and Clark's like, "Don't ever use your super hearing on your mom." And you can tell like that's a Clark trying to teach his son boundaries and to respect his mother's boundaries, but also you can tell that there is experience behind what Clark is saying with what Lois has said in the past, because of course we know that Lois on a very bad occasion busted Superman for using his hearing on her.
Yep.
So he doesn't want Jordan to make those same mistakes. This episode has actually got a few instances of people trying to help Jordan not make mistakes, which I gotta say I did like that story where he is in what is that, like, general goods store or whatever it's called. I forget the name of it, but when he's in that store and uses the frost breath on the floor,
In
and
front of the cameras.
yeah, and when the girl says to Sarah, she's like, "Oh, don't worry, we got the place on surveillance." You're like, "Oh shit." He immediately panics and calls Sam,
Yeah.
and Sam's like, "I took care of it." And I love the look on Jordan's face. He's like, "How do you know?" Um, that just
Yeah, it's
tells you
just
that,
like the
yeah,
naivete
Sam,
of Jordan and wanting to
yeah,
help. Yeah,
yeah, and
I get
Sam,
it.
as Adrian Chase would say, Sam is just like 10 steps ahead. He already knows what's up. And, he just, Sam's just out there chilling on a golf course. You made other real world parallels earlier. People love their golf courses.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. I like this whole Jordan story. Ironically, this might be Jordan's best season, I think. Like this and
Yeah.
4 might be his best seasons.
Yep. And speaking of the kids, Jonathan is having his he's experimenting with that
Oh
K.
yeah, XK. Yeah. Do you love too how every time it's a football scene in this show, like every single time that I can think of, they always have a pop song in the background. Whenever there's football, every time
Yep.
I'm like, is this some all American bullshit?
But I love the football scenes in this show. Like
Oh yeah,
I love them. It reminded me of like the Smallville era when Clark wanted to play football.
but done better.
But done better. And it indeed it does remind me of All American in certain
Yeah,
aspects. But Coach Gaines is freaking hilarious.
yeah,
Jonathan finding out that his girlfriend is the one providing the drugs leads into a greater storyline that we get to see play out in
mhm,
season 3 between
yep,
Jonathan and her father.
yep.
So I mean this
And
this
that
is
even
all leading
carries
to
on
that.
to 4. That even
Yep.
carries on to 4.
This is all leading to that. So they've been planting seeds for a while. Another thing that I did like is I just love how Clark is still trying to be like there for the boys, like keeping that promise. He's
Yeah,
trying to be there for the boys while dealing with this whole thing about being linked to Bizarro. And when this was airing, I remember trying to wonder like why are they linked? Because this has never been a thing in the comics. There was never a pendant that led to Bizarro World or nothing like that. There was never
right.
that type of connection. So I was trying to figure out like what is this? But
I mean,
man, like
in a lot of iterations, there wasn't a Bizarro world. There was just a reverse Superman.
yeah,
So yeah, I like the twists and turns that they took with it because again, like even if you're somebody that's read a bunch of Superman comics and seen a lot of media, it's different, it's fresh, it's unique. So they were able to mix a lot of story beats that you might be familiar with, but they intermixed a good amount of well written family drama and thematics into it, and that's what made this stand out. So I definitely got to give it credit there. Um, and I love that moment when they're fighting on the farm, and John Henry just calls his hammer to him, no suit or anything, and the
yeah.
AI even warns him against it. He was like, "Give me my hammer," and just wrecks Bizarro. Good stuff. Good
It's
stuff.
just and seeing John dealing with the fact that he keeps getting hurt is crazy.
Yeah, but you know what? It's human though. Like it's human. They show you that hey, John doesn't walk away from all these things unscathed. And even when they're out there fighting on the snow, you see the hammer breaks, and
Yep.
then John gets roughed up pretty bad to where he ends
I
up
just
going to the hospital.
whenever John gets some head trauma, I just Wole Parks just sit.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
said you don't have to show the heads up display every time you get hit.
they do that
We
every
get
time.
it.
They do.
We get it. We get it.
You know what? It's just adding seconds to the runtime. That's what they got to do.
Yeah, and I'm like, dog, y'all keep focusing on his head trouble. Like, is he gonna have die from a brain bleed later on? Like,
They just want to showcase those veins, man.
yeah. But they're setting up the fact that they have to give Nat something to do and give Nat
Yeah,
something to worry about and show that she's not as trusting of these people as he wants her to be because she's new here. And I get that.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
also love
She
the fact
hasn't
that
had
she
the time to grow.
found she found her friend in Sarah. I
Yeah,
like that. And
it's good.
I love that Jordan is so insecure about it. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, at that age in those situations, you're gonna be insecure, and it was the fact that John Jordan and now Nat are like holding on to the world's biggest secret. So you know, you get this is kind of Jordan's now feeling what Sarah has been feeling for a lot of the show to this point. That arm's distance kind of feeling of like not being in the know, like on the up and up about things, because you know not only does Nat know their secrets, so there's that too, but also there's a lot of stuff that Nat and Sarah talk about that Jordan is
yep,
not in on, which is what Sarah dealt with for majority of these first 2 seasons. So they put Jordan in that same in those same shoes and show that he doesn't respond to it as well
yep,
uh, a lot of the time. But I like that they did the whole thing between Nat and Sarah, which carries on into season 3 too. Because if anything, like even though I like Sarah, there are a number of points where it doesn't really feel like she's doing anything. So this whole blooming friendship with Nat definitely gave her something to do. Um,
that's true.
yeah, and it goes into the whole thing with the Mannheims in season 3, where you really get to see her involvement there, and they don't get much later on. Actually, I don't even know if they interact once in season 4 that I can remember, but because there were a lot of cuts there with cast, but um, and I also liked the stuff between Clark and Jordan, where Clark and Lois are saying like, "Hey, like what you said to your granddad really like was not cool. Like you don't talk to him that way." But it
Yeah,
didn't. It wasn't like typical parent preach, and it also showed. And this is something stupid that I saw is people saying that, oh, what? So, like a general's complaining about how his feelings are hurt. I'm like, that's his grandson. That's
exactly.
different. It's very different. So yeah, I don't know. I like the Jordan storyline was one of the parts of the episode I'd really enjoyed.
Yeah, but all in all, not a lot happened in this.
Yeah, this
Not
was a
not a
very
lot.
low stakes
This
episode.
this was a very low stakes episode. But yeah, like it all comes to a head with like meeting with Lucy, and like I said, Jenna Dewan, uh, she does her best, but coming from her being one of the characters that I did not like on Supergirl, I mean, and honestly, I don't like Lucy. I don't like Lucy Lane in any iteration.
Same,
I
honestly.
didn't like her on Smallville. I did not like her on Supergirl because they made her be, oh, the girl in the middle that's gonna stop Carl from being with Jimmy, and then
Just antagonistic. Yeah.
yeah, it made her very antagonistic just for the show to go to the CW, and they'd be like, yeah, we're gonna roll that back because we don't like that. So like, I mean, her being in this cool, they brought back an alum, but again, we never see her again after the season. So it just feels like a
Yeah.
pointless character. And again, she's been so brainwashed. But all like aside
Yeah.
from that, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode.
Yeah. There was too the whole stuff. I forgot to bring this up until now, but the whole thing where Chrissy goes undercover
Oh yeah.
with Allie's cult. Terrible wig on Sophia Hasmick, by the way.
Hey, so
Um,
Chrissy was being annoying the like for the first few episodes with when this whole thing was coming out. Like, trust Lois, bro. Like, come on. Like, she
right.
would never lead
Like
you in the wrong direction.
yeah, you saw she was right about the whole stuff with Edge Calro, so she has a knack for this sort of thing. She's got a 20-year rep as the Superman reporter, so that should tell you that she knows what she's talking about.
Exactly.
And then that whole argument, the only scene between Lucy and Lois that you actually get in this episode, of course, it's being filmed, and that one of the last scenes where it's Clark and Lois on the porch. It's as soon as the scene starts, you get that feeling of, all right, so we both had shitty days. Let's unload this. Yeah, and I don't know. I just love how it's become a thing. Like every couple episodes or so, we have the recurring porch wine session.
Yep. And that was something that they stuck with, and I like it.
Yeah. See, but if you do it sparingly, that's fine.
Yeah.
Contrast that with a show like The Flash, where every damn episode it's like, "Can I talk to you in the hallway for a minute?" It's like every damn time they did it, and it got overdone. But because the show was a lot shorter, it didn't overstay its welcome, and a lot of its good aspects didn't eventually go stale. So, as much as we would have wanted it to go on longer, maybe its shortened run was a blessing in disguise.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Not really a lot. Not much else really happened. Again, kind
Yeah.
of low stakes.
Low stakes episode. Yeah. But all in all, thoroughly enjoyed it again upon a second rewatch. Like and I don't know what it is, but like the newer shows like this and Stargirl, those aren't shows that I would actively and go like just sit down and binge watch over again. These don't feel like bingeable shows, but that's not a bad thing.
No.
That's not a bad thing. Shows like The Flash and the older CW shows,
Yeah.
those feel like you can binge those over and
Yeah.
over again.
Ones like
Shows like
this,
these,
you want to sit and consume each episode
yeah,
individually.
yeah, yeah. Like I can't just like I could never bring myself to actively rewatch Stargirl all the way through. But that's because it was on a different
Yeah.
level of quality. And honestly, my watching it as it aired felt good. Like rewatching the older CW shows, it's like taking a trip back in time to the younger days, having
Yeah.
fun when life was so
Different.
much simpler. It was different. But like when it comes to this, it's the same feeling, except I don't know. It just feels different. Like it's not that I don't like. It's just like I can't rewatch pure perfection.
You can't turn your brain off and just like go right through it.
Yeah. I can't turn my brain off and just run through several episodes. I could do that with the Flash.
Yeah,
I could do
but
that with Legends. I could do that with the Arrow. I could do that
yeah,
with Supergirl. I could do that with Black Lightning. I cannot do that with Stargirl and with Superman. I can't do it for Batwoman. I can't do it for Batwoman either, but for different reasons. I just never felt like rewatching Batwoman.
and even then, it's not just because the show's newer. Because there are even like shows that we grew up with that I still don't want to watch in like a binge sense. Like I want
Yeah,
to knowingly and purposefully, if they're ones I'm watching through, like just this small little sidebar here. I don't want to go through this, but I've said this on several live streams. Like I'll have an episode of the 90s X-Men cartoon with my morning coffee. But even though I've seen it dozens and dozens of times, I still watch it through and absorb what's happening. So like there are other shows that I just turn on in the background and just have while I'm cleaning or doing whatever. But this is one of those ones that I actually want to sit and absorb what's
yeah,
happening or reabsorb what's happening in this case. And again, you're like just because a show is one that you can, turn your brain off to, doesn't always make it bad.
exactly. But with that being said, I think we have come to the close of another successful episode in season two. Guys, we will be back next week. I'm uploading this a little bit earlier. Hopefully, Darren will be back with us if I can convince him to leave the stripping job, because I don't want him living that lifestyle. He's young, Darren's only 17. So yeah. Um but until next time, yeah. Catch you later.